Okay, now you can continue to create a lot of simulations off of base running drills. We can even incorporate some defensive aspects to it. This is a simulated kind of drill where you can put players on first. There's none out or there's one out, because if there's two outs and they see a ball put in play from first, they're running no matter what. But if there's none out or one out, ground ball, obviously we got to go. Line drive, obviously we got to freeze. Fly ball into the outfield. This is a situation where we want our players to, on their secondary, see that fly ball, and they gotta gauge, they gotta kind of determine how far they can get after that secondary. So let's say our player is here, they read that pitch, they get their secondary, and they see the ball batted in the air, maybe to right field. That's a situation where we want to get off the base and start to make a little bit more of a move that in case it's caught, we can get back in time and be safe. Different right field compared to left field. If it's a deep fly ball to left field, maybe we can get out here, and maybe we can even get a little bit further because it's a much further throw. Then we can get all the way back. This is one of those situations where you can encourage your kids to be maybe a little more risky, maybe a little bit more aggressive. I mean, a fly ball that's going to land just over here, maybe this is as far as we can go. A fly ball that's going to land deep in the corner in left field, maybe we can really get out there. This is one of those things that over the years I've heard a lot of people say, how far do you go on a fly ball? Oh, you go halfway. You don't go halfway. Maybe sometimes you go as much as halfway. Maybe sometimes you go even further than halfway. But if we're encouraging our kids in this situation to go halfway and they see the fly ball go up, oh, it's a fly ball, I'm supposed to go halfway, but the fly ball is right over here and we got a kid all the way out here at halfway, they're going to be dead meat at first base. Just the same, halfway sometimes might not be enough. If we got our kid at first base and all of a sudden secondary deep fly ball to left field and our left fielder on that team is running way out there and our player stops at halfway, why did we stop at halfway? Why didn't we get a little bit further? Because if it drops, now we can take off, catch third, maybe even catch home. So this is one of those simulated drills where we can get some base running practice going on, but also we can have some defensive players out there and we can hit balls out to them, throw balls out to them, and our base runner has to read what's going on and then adapt and adjust accordingly based on what they see to either get back to the base or to advance and take that next base or maybe even the next base. Okay, similar to that previous drill where we're thinking more about fly balls and our runner on first is reading whether they're going or not going, we can set this up as more of a simulated drill where they are going, and it's a matter of are we stopping at second or are we going to third. So this is just first to thirds. And what we're going to do in this drill as the coach, either throwing or with a bat, we're trying to get base hits into the outfield. We're trying to get base hits to go into the outfield. Now, we got to help our kids understand the process of how this is going to work. If they get into their secondary and they get going on that base hit, and now it seems like the baseball is behind them, it's more likely that we're going to turn and try to come to third. So that's a situation where on our secondary and then maybe a base hit over our head into the outfield, we're going to start to get a little bit wider so we can make a little bit of a turn coming into third. Compared to a ground ball that's maybe right up the middle where the center fielder is approaching it, maybe we got to work really hard to just stay on the baseline and be safe at second. Maybe on a base hit that goes over the third baseman's head and goes down that line, we can take off, get a little bit of a better angle, but maybe we're not going to make the turn and get to third on that one because the play is now a little bit too close to third base. This is also a fun drill for kids to do because you can add in some defensive elements to it where you put some outfielders out there and maybe a player at third. This is a situation where anything that's behind them, base hit over their head, they can't be craning their neck to look at what's going on over here. This is a situation where as they come a little wider to get a good angle, they got to pick up that coach at third base where you as a coach are waving them to keep coming to third, or you got two big hands up and you're asking them to stop. If it's a hit that's kind of in front of them and they can see it, for sure, maybe you want them to count on you and check you out so you can give them an idea as to what they ought to do. But this is maybe one of those situations where you want to encourage them to kind of make up their own minds. If you think you can make it, go for it. A lot of kids will go for it and they have no chance of making it and they're going to get nailed at third, but it's all part of the learning process of understanding that read and trying to figure out what is the appropriate risk to take. When should I stay put? When should I push the limits? What kind of arm does the outfielder have? Accurate and strong or not? So anything that's kind of behind them in a drill like this, we probably want them to take off, get a better angle, pick you up at third base, compared to a base hit that maybe goes more center field, left center gap, or left field. That's maybe a situation where we want them out of their secondary to take off, get that good angle, see and read, and maybe they can make the determination as to whether they want to go for it or whether they're happy to just stay put and pull up at second base safe.